what I got. I have been waiting for 6 months, probably longer, to get this block back for the T-200. Also got the Harley tore apart in the background here. We're gonna paint this fairing. The sun had just destroyed the color in it, so we're gonna paint that. But for now, this week we're gonna get this engine back together. It has been sitting here so long, like every part just needs cleaned, gone through and cleaned. Plus I've stolen some parts for the the 873, so we're gonna have to replace some stuff. But let's get this thing up on the engine stand and start putting it back together. Let's go over some things with this real quick. I bought bigger pistons. First I bought sleeves for it. I still have the sleeves, but what I went ahead and did is I just went ahead and bought bigger pistons. And the reason why I did that is because I have a video of me taking this engine out and just trying to refresh it and just get through the season with it, but it kept blowing head gaskets. And come to find out that this particular engine has 3 different choices of head gasket thicknesses. Now, when I ordered the rebuild kit from Bobcat, they took the serial number off the machine and sent me the head gasket for it, which is the thinnest head gaskets of the 3 choices. So I think what's happened here is that at some point either this engine has been switched in this machine, or some machine work has been done to this block and they've already decked this block. So I have to run a thicker head gasket. So I was worried if he sleeved this and then he decked this, that I was going to lose even more height off this deck. So I just went ahead and had him bore it, and we're just going to put bigger pistons in it. And then once we get it all together, then I'm going to have to check how far the piston comes out of the block in order to order the right head gasket for this. Honestly, when I took this apart the first time, if I would have just read the number off the head gasket that was on here, I would have ordered the right head gasket, but I didn't, so I ordered the wrong head gasket. But you know, this engine probably would have been all right if I would have put the right head gasket on it. But what was happening is the pistons were coming above the deck height and the gasket wasn't thick enough, so they were hitting the head and blowing the head gasket. That's why I would take this thing apart. I would throw a new head gasket on it and it would just blow the head gasket again. Well, the pistons were hitting the head because the head gasket wasn't thick enough. So, and the head gasket isn't thick enough because I didn't order the right one for it, because I didn't look at the number off the head gasket when I took it all apart in the first place. So I just ordered the head gasket this engine should have, but it's not the right head gasket. So something's wrong. This has either been decked before or it just takes the thicker head gasket. But all right, hopefully you understand that. What else? We also had them install the cam bearings, and I want to bring the crankshaft in too. I had them turn the crankshaft down. I think 25 thousandths on it. I'll have to look. He wrote it on it, and I ordered the bearings for it, and he ordered on, and he wrote it on the crankshaft. So let's get that in here and look at it. All right, I lied. So we went 50 thousandths on the rod and mains. I had them developed that on that. Looks like he did a pretty good job. All right. I also had him put new wrist pins in the pistons. Had it all done. Let's get the piston or the wrist pins and the new pistons in here. All right. See how to put new wrist pins in, wrist pin bushings, I should say. And I had them check the rod here to make sure it wasn't out of round, but they were all good. Now here's the sleeves I ordered for it. We're just not going to use it. I'll probably put these on eBay or something. I don't see the point in keeping them. As far as the 873 has the same exact engine, but I mean, when it comes to time to rebuilding it, I'll probably just do the same thing. Order an oversized piston for it, which is what we got up here. Anyways, here's some sleeves. The sleeves, what you would do for a sleeve is just bore it, and then you slide the sleeve down in there, and you kind of cut the top for this little lip to fit in there, and then you deck it. By not installing sleeves, like I was telling you, we don't have to deck this block. We just bored it and put a bigger piston in, so I don't have to worry about taking any more height off of this, because we can't. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, if this in fact takes the thickest gasket right now, we couldn't take any more height off of this deck, because with the thinnest gasket, which was on there, the pistons were hitting the head. So anyways, no sleeves. We're not sleeving it. Just gonna throw a bigger piston in it. New wrist pins, new pistons. 50 over piston. Super excited. We gotta get it all together. Oh yeah, nice and tight. All right, what else? Oh, I had him hot tank the block too. I'd take all the plugs out and hot tank the block. So we'll have to check. I see he's kind of just stuck some back. You know, have to check and make sure they're all tight. And that's it. Let's throw some tunes on. What do you think? Get this engine up on the engine stand. Get some parts cleaned. And we'll check that out. Now, one thing I cannot forget is in these Deutz engines, and I didn't even know, I've never seen anything like this before. These little things started falling out after I took it all apart. And I was finding them in the back of my truck. Luckily, I found all of them. I had to clean these out before I put them in. But these go down in these little holes here. And what they do is oil goes from the main bearing through that little hole there and injects oil onto the wrist pin for the piston. So there's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each wrist pin's getting, oh, come on, light. Each wrist pin is getting squirted from 2 different angles. So we're gonna get those cleaned and installed, and we're gonna check first the cam fitment just to make sure we're good with our new bearings. So let's do that first. Let's get our cam cleaned and make sure that fits. I did clean out the parts washer for this, and I just used diesel in my parts washer. Clean rag. Get some assembly lube. the heck? There it goes. Pay attention. Quit screwing around. Quit screwing around. All right. All right. I think we're good. She seems all right. I see the camera's good. Bearings are nice. The old cam bearings, boy, they were wore out. All right. Now let's get these cleaned and put in there. Probably see it poke out right there. There's that. All right. Let's get cam bearings, crank bearings installed. Well, Houston, we already have a problem. I told him to turn this crank 25, and then I read the top of that, and he put 50 thousandths. So, I mean, I'm going to say that the crank must have been already wore past 25 thousandths. Which, wow. That's a lot of wear on that crankshaft. So, we're gonna have to order in the right bearings, so I'll be back with you in a couple days. All right, let's get the roller lifters installed in the fuel pumps, fuel squirters, whatever you want to call these. Got a little pin, a little slot.
I did not mark which roller went where on the cam, so hope that don't hurt it, because they're going in different spots than they were in the block. One. Let's get the rest of those in. This is like the little lever here. Hold on. Fuel shut off. A little notch in there. Back and forth. Well, that pushes this little notch on these little fuel pumps. Turns them on and off. That's how the engine kills the fuel to it. Alright, let's get the rest of these installed. Alright, so when we're installing these, we just need to make sure this lines up with that little notch down in there, right there. You see that? So right now the injector's off. The off position. I don't know if I can rotate that camera or not. There we go. All right. Alright, let's get the rest of them installed like that. Same way. Alright, bearings are in. Let's get this crankshaft installed. Now normally on crank bearings you have a top and a bottom bearing, but this, it doesn't matter. Top and bottom bearing are pretty much identical. I shouldn't say pretty much, they are identical, so it doesn't really matter. This is the hole where the bearing gets fed, or I'm sorry, this is the hole where the bearing gets fed, this one. This is the hole where the squirters, I don't know if you can see down there, get fed to feed the wrist pins on the pistons. I'll show you that here in a little bit when we get the pistons in. See, when you get the bearing in, both those holes are open. That's one thing you gotta check. Sometimes, or most of the time, the bottom bearing will be slotted and the top bearing won't have this slot. So you have to make sure you get the right bearing in the right spot. But these are just, they're slotted on both top and bottom, so it doesn't really matter. But that's what I was talking about. There's usually a difference, but this set there isn't, so it doesn't really matter where the bearings go. And there's a little notch right there. That's it. You just slide that bearing in, put that little notch there. That's it. Bottom mains are in. Put some assembly lube on there. Where is it? I lose everything. Where did I have it? There we go. Set the crankshaft in there. Now, caps. Oh! Now she should still turn easily. She does. All right. Now let's get some pistons in it. So I had new wrist pin bushings installed. Now I marked these where they came out of the engine. This was number 4. But since I had new bushings installed and we're replacing these bearings, I don't think it matters where they go back in. Remember, there isn't a front and back to this rod. They're identical on both sides. So some rods, like this engine has those squirters on the crankshaft. Those squirters I was showing you squirt oil up and onto this wrist pin right here. Now some rods will have like a squirter hole in this rod where the oil comes up, squirts up and hits this through a hole in the rod. This doesn't have that, and it's pretty much identical from what I can tell on both sides, so it doesn't matter which way this rod goes in. But I did take pictures, I think, when I stamped these. I'm gonna go back and look right now. Now this piston, the machine shop already installed the rings, which is nice. So nice of them. I guess they checked fitment with the rings in it. We snap rings in. All right, one assembled. All right, so these cylinders got a fresh bore on them. Got some brand new rings. I like to coat my cylinders with oil so we don't have just a dry startup. Look like a freshly bored out cylinder on new rings. And then I'll take some oil and just fill the oil ring. That's it. Sometimes it works great. There it goes. Just gotta remember these pistons are not centered. The long part goes towards the turbo side. We're going to try to prime this motor if we can.
Gotta make the time to see I'll be on my ready beat. Take a step outside, little piece of mind. Gotta make the time to see I've been going crazy in the sun. In the sun. Be satisfied, does it cross your mind? Gotta take the time to see you'll be on my ready, won't you please me? You're the only weather that can save me. I've been going crazy in the. You know you want make the time to see you. Be waiting for a revelation. Superficial summer, so vacation. Well, I've been waiting for you in love. Be satisfied, exemplified. Gonna make the time to see you. I'll be on already, won't you? Take a step outside, little peace of mind. Gonna make the time to see you. I've been going crazy in love. You know you wanna try. You know you wanna try your summer solstice, but you can't afford it. You wanna try again. You wanna try again. If we can't help me, maybe California can. Hey.
All right, now we got to try to figure out what head gasket this engine needs now. So, with a little bit of help from the machine shop and things that I had kind of figured out before, there's 3 different head gaskets this engine can take. Each one is just slightly thicker than the other one. And there's 3 different pistons that could be in this engine, all where the wrist pin is in different heights in the piston, which will change how high the piston comes above the deck height. So I think I told you guys before, the mistake I made when I did like a refresh on this engine is I just gave the dealer the machine number, serial number, VIN number, whatever it is, serial number, and they just ordered me a head gasket, the one that they said that this machine took. Well, it was the wrong head gasket. Let me show you. You can see where the piston was hitting the head, and the valves. Can you see that? So we had the wrong head gasket, obviously, and the easiest way to figure out which head gasket we need is you just have to measure how far this piston comes above the deck height. Let's see if you can see. Let me get an up close view of this for you. See if you can see that. See, that piston comes out of, which is crazy to me, but it does. The piston comes out of the deck. So you just got to order the right thickness head gasket to make up for that, or else this piston will hit the head. And that's what was happening. So let's see if we can figure this out. I think we can just stick that on there and check it with feeler gauges. Well, the biggest feeler gauge I have is 26 thousandths, and it is way bigger than 26 thousandths, so we gotta figure that out. Let me look at the scale. All right, so you can see this real quick. So we're already above 26 thousandths is the biggest I go. So 23 to 27 is notch number 1, head gasket to thinnest. So we're already above pretty much the thinnest head gasket. So I'm gonna have to like go buy some more gauges so I can figure out. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be the number 3, the 3rd notch, but because there was a pretty big gap under the 26 thousandths. But probably have to go buy some more gauges. Alright, I'm back from, I had to run down to Harbor Freight real quick. They had a feeler gauge set that went up to 032. It gets me above 030. That's all I need. The last gasket is 030. So let's start right off with 032. Yeah. 032 fits right under there. Woo! So it's definitely above. Yeah, it fits under. 032 fits under. Barely. Like it's starting to catch, so. Yeah, it is the thickness head gasket. Alright, so let's order that. Alright, we're gonna order the head gasket right now. When we come back, we're gonna finish assembling. We can get front timing done on it. This engine does not need the head on it to have the front timing done. Can you see? Let me look at that. Front timing done. The rear cover and oil pan, all that can get assembled while I'm waiting for the head gasket to come in. All right, front timing covers. You can see something was leaking really good up here. Probably one of these gaskets. So we're going to take this apart and change the gaskets. Clean this really good. I hadn't taken it apart yet because this looks kind of complicated. But we're going to figure it out because we're going to change all these gaskets. All right, let's get scrubbing it.
Good to hear you feeling better, but I still got a ways. Oh, to be where the weather's wetter, with a stomach settled and a mouth full of Great Lake. Way too much to buckle under. You can almost smell the stolen thunder. Still I got a lingering love for this place. Let's turn the plane around. I don't wanna give up. I used to think I needed order, but not so much anymore. Always cautious round the corners. I was feeling like a phono, knocking at the locked door. Passing cars and rolling thunder. Passing cars and rolling thunder. Still I got a lingering love for this place.
I got the timing set. Let's just go over it real quick. There's a little plug here you pull out, and then you thread this in to the cam. There's a hole in the cam, so it could only go in one place. Now on the back side, you pull a little plug and you thread this in, and you rotate the crankshaft until it hits this, and then that's it. Once you do that, the cam and the crank are where they got to be. Now you can, which I did. Well, I had these loose, this and this. You loosen this bolt and this bolt and this spin freely. Loosen this bolt here, and this is the tensioner. Now you're supposed to buy a belt tensioner or use one. I don't have one. I just made sure it was taut. And tighten that bolt, that's it. And then you tighten these two nuts. And then the timing is set on this. It's actually pretty easy to set the timing on these. So you put the pin in there. There's a little hole in the camshaft. It can only go into the cam one way. When the cam's in the right place, it'll slide in. If the cam isn't in the right place, it won't slide in. This you put it in, you just rotate the crankshaft till there's a little spot on the crankshaft that'll hit that, and the crankshaft will stop spinning. Get your belt on, and then you just turn this with an Allen wrench until your belt is tight. Tighten that. And then tighten these two bolts. And that's it. Timing set on it. Alright, let's finish putting her back together. Or put as much as we can together tonight. I'm just going to leave these pins in for now. I'll tell you, it's nice to have another one of these engines at the shop, because my 873 is the exact same engine. I was trying to put this in like this. Some kind of a thermostat setup or something for the oil. Because this is oil cooled, so it sends oil out into a radiator, out through this hole, back into this hole. I was trying to put it in like this, and I'm like, man, I just don't know. But I went down and checked the other one, and it goes like this. So, yeah, I don't know. I almost put that in wrong. Right, like this.
It's a lifeless life with no fixed address to give. But you're not mine to die for anymore, so I must live. Born of a bottle from heaven's hand, and now you know, and here I am.
I think the engine is done enough for me to put this thing to work. Finally, go over what I found out. So when I got it back together, we were still having an overheating problem. And what it ended up being is the thermostat. See, early on, somebody had mentioned the thermostat when I was having some overheating problems. So I just took the thermostat out, assuming it's like a car. If you just take the thermostat out, water or oil, I'm sorry, would just flow through the radiator freely. But that's not how it works in this engine. When the thermostat isn't opened, it lets oil just circulate through the engine. And then when it opens, it closes the passageway to let it circulate through the engine and opens the passageway for it to come into here. So it works differently than a car thermostat. So, lesson learned the hard way. Even though, like, I learned all about torque to yield bolts, and I shouldn't be reusing head bolts that are torque to yield. I learned a lot of lessons about this engine, honestly, which is okay because this machine and that machine have the same engine, and I plan on buying just another engine and rebuilding it, you know, to have a spare engine, because I need both these machines to stay healthy. But one thing we're having though is a little bit of white smoke, and I think it's because even though I put new valve seals in this thing, I think they popped off on a couple of them, because I think the valve seats or valve guides are wore out, so it won't hold a valve seal on a couple of the valves. And the only way to remedy that is to take the head off, give it to a machine shop, and let them fix it, which I don't have 6 more months to wait on this machine. I mean, the machine will run just fine. It just smokes just a little bit. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I'm not taking it apart. Like what I said, what I'm gonna do is just buy another one, rebuild it, make sure I have, I guess, to check the valve guides on the next head, and how does the backup? I think she'll be fine, and she'll make the summer. What we're gonna work on today a little bit is I bought 2 milling heads for this machine. We got to get them plumbed up to make them work with this. And the wiring, need to start checking into that. What we got to do to make this work. And what else? Oh, we're taking the tires, or rims and tires off of this today. Painting them, and I had thrown a spare on here over last summer, and the height difference is a good ½ inch, meaning this tire is taking more weight than that tire because of the height difference. So we're going to fix that and paint these ugly things, clean up the shop a little bit. And we got a driveway, I think, we're starting tomorrow. So all right, like and subscribe, man. I'll see you in the next one.